Back with Multiversity Comics. I'm here today with James Tynion and Emmanuela Lupacchino to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the projects you're working on. Right now, you've just started the Witching Hour crossover between Justice League Dark and Wonder Woman. Why don't you all talk a little bit about what it's like to work on this crossover and what it's like to work together and kind of your goals for the story moving forward?
Oh boy. Honestly, it's really exciting. Going all the way back to when I first started on Justice League Dark, one of the big questions that I kept being asked over and over again is why is Wonder Woman on a horror team full of monsters? And telling a horror event that has Diana right at the heart of it and her mythology right at the heart of it with Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, and how that ties into the mythology of Olympus and all of that. Like, we are going to tap into exactly why Diana is a part of this team and the secret magic of the witch mark that she's been carrying inside her since she was a child that she had no idea about. We wanted to create this real discomfort in Diana. We wanted to make her feel that what she thought was stable, what she thought was the firm ground under her feet, has now fallen away, and she's sinking into something that she doesn't quite understand. And her mythology is now dangerous, and she doesn't know what it means for magic and her. She doesn't know whether or not she can win, and she doesn't know if she can control the power of the witch mark. So that's really exciting, and I've been really lucky with the artists that I've been able to work with on this event, particularly Emma, who absolutely destroys it on the two Wonder Woman issues. So yeah.
Would you like to hold it? Oh yeah, thank you. So far, Wonder Woman was a bright book, very positive, and she was powerful and always in charge of the situation. So the reader trusts her for anything happen in the book, and but now the situation has changed, and Diana itself goes worried because something bad is happening to her. Dark magic, it's unpredictable, so she has no control of her power anymore, and she got worried, she got uncomfortable and scared, and the group is not they lost their power, so they can't afford the situation. They can't manage what's happening around them, and I think this is the most creepy and scary component of the story.
So, kind of going off what you were talking about with this secret history, yesterday we talked to Scott Snyder, and he talked about how secret histories have very much played into his writing of the Justice League characters and everything, and you're kind of getting to tackle that with Diana. I kind of want to ask you that question. What do you think is so fascinating about creating these secret mysteries and contributing new aspects to the mythology of these, very old characters?
That's a great question. I mean, honestly, I think it's a sort of twofold thing. Like, you want one of the best ways for a character to like in any fiction to sort of discover more about themselves is that they uncover a part of their past that they never fully understand. But the other thing is that we're working in a like DC superhero universe where continuities change 3 or 4 times or more than that, and we have especially within the magical world, and especially with Diana and the gods of Olympus and all of that, there are these there have been constant changes to the point where it requires every now and then to sort of like pinpoint exactly what that history is that leads us to this moment, and picking and choosing from the best of all of those histories to build to a really exciting and different take of the modern day. So that's something that I've been talking about a lot with my editors and everyone on Justice League Dark and the Witching Hour, but it's also something that we are sort of applying to the entire DC line in Justice League. So it's really, really exciting. it's taking all the toys in the toy box, and it's like, this is, and basically saying, like, this is how they all fit together. This is how all the different pieces of mythology fit together. We haven't redefined what magic is in the DC universe since all the Vertigo characters came back into it back in Brightest Day. So that's the excitement of right now, is actually like nailing down some of the rules of magic, some of the kind of cosmic like cosmic level, like, what is magic? Who are the primary beings of magic? Like, what is it in response to? And we're going that on one side of the coin we have Hecate, who is the main villain of the Witching Hour event, and on the other side of the coin, upside down on the coin, is the Upside Down Man. And we're going to understand how they fit together. And honestly, we're like, in the course of this event, we will get the entire, like, from one vantage point, we get the history of magic. So that is something I'm very excited about telling.
That is really exciting, and you had kind of touched a little bit on magic in your Detective Comics run. You had the arc with Zatanna. Were the sparks for this storyline at play there? Was that something you were looking forward to, or has this kind of been a happy chance that you've kind of been able to come along and pick up those story threads again?
I mean, these threads have been running through the back of my mind for a long, long time, and I definitely, like, honestly, that arc in Detective was something that I was really excited about. Working with Alvaro on a Zatanna story is one of the reasons that I'm working with Alvaro on Justice League Dark. Alvaro Martinez is my main artist on Justice League Dark, and he's also doing part 3 of the Witching Hour crossover, the Justice League Dark issue, and his work is absolutely phenomenal, and he's become a close friend, and this is like we both have this deep love of DC lore and the magical lore and the history of horror inside of DC Comics. So, yes, that there were threads that started then, but even before that, when I was working on Constantine the Hellblazer with Ming Doyle and Riley Rossmo, like, that was also one of the points where I started thinking about, like, okay, this is more like on the ground, but what is the bigger story that the story I'm telling right now is, if I could only tell one story about all of magic in the DC universe and then I'm done, that would be this story. And then I still have an idea for a story after that, so.
Oh, that's exciting. Emmanuela, I wanted to ask you, your work at DC, I think, has traditionally so far been very iconic, superheroic work, very fun, really enjoyable. Now you're kind of transitioning into more of a horror-tinged genre. Has that changed the way that you approach the work, or how has that been for you?
Okay, I'm mainly associated with positive characters as Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Superman, but actually I'm a huge fan of noir stories, dark stories, and mysteries, and here was full of creatures, fantastic creatures, and surreal environment, and it was like a party to me, because I know very well how to work on that element. So I spent a lot of time projecting and figuring out how to draw the Chirche Cave and the magic forest with the unicorn, and I played with the contrast of the elements. Like the unicorn is magical, it's all bright and sparkling, and then it comes dark, and everything changes. So I worked on this storytelling a lot, because dark stories are not about dark and blacks on the pages. It's about the whole composition, the expressions, the gesturing, the acting, and it's like an orchestra. And I'm the director, and I did it very well because I'm a huge fan.
Yes. Yeah, and that's one thing, a misconception. Dark, magical stories don't have to be dreary, dark things. Your work and the coloring work and the issues are very bright, very beautiful. So I am really excited from what I've read of Witching Hour. I've gotten a little peek at some of the stuff coming up. I think readers are really going to enjoy what's coming up. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk with us today, and keep doing great work. Thank you.